People are now. You got down. Good evening, all you minties, and welcome back to another episode of Reelz Talk with your host, the amazing Amanda, and my lovely co-host, the Uncanny Omar.
What's up, everybody? I am the Uncanny Omar, and that's the lovely Amanda, or whatever she called herself. And together we're going to be talking about the latest DC universe, the first James Gunn, maybe. I don't know. I guess it depends if it succeeds or not.
No, he said, I think he said it was going to be in here. Not that he said regardless, but I think he's going to keep him in here.
You think so? Okay, well, it's going to be really interesting to talk about what aspects and how. But so today we're going to be talking about Blue Beetle. We're going to be talking about spoilers. We're going to talk about Easter eggs. We're going to give our thoughts and our review. It was a movie that I don't think was supposed to come out in theaters, right? It was supposed to go directly to streaming. So I talked to my buddy Matt yesterday.
I think like in the very, very beginning when they had first announced it. Originally it was, and then I think they moved it to a theatrical release. I don't know why they decided to. Maybe because they had nothing else. Maybe there was issues with the Flash at the time. Maybe they just figured they shouldn't shortchange their first Latino superhero. Regardless, they did decide to change it to a theatrical release somewhere along the way, which I'm not sad about. I'm happy about that.
Okay. So, interesting choice, though, to make this kind of like after Flash, which is supposed to be the end of the Snyderverse and before the official Gunn universe. So it's this really weird, like, from a marketing standpoint, of course, you're going to have to say, hey, everybody out there, just remind people that this is the first James Gunn movie from the DC universe, right? As you're watching this, yeah, sure. I guess maybe it could be part of the James Gunn universe, but we'll see. Blue Beetle, our very first Latino lead for a superhero movie, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
I mean, we've had obviously like Zoe Saldana,
Miles, but
lead. But she wasn't
Miles. We got Latino and African American.
Yeah,
and like
but not live action. Not live action, right? So
no, not live. But I guess first live action lead.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, you already have, like I said, Zoe Saldana technically, but she wasn't playing a Hispanic character or Latino character. She was playing whatever her race is in Guardians. I'm not going to pretend I remember that. So.
The green lady. I think we're in the DCU now. Flash definitely led some stuff being erased, but Barry will totally be recast, and Clooney is just, oh boy, Clooney. that whole thing. I heard that was a James Gunn idea too. Gonna be retconned as another rich dude. Bruce was stuck in traffic. Thank you so much for the super chat, Tetsujin. But everybody here in America, Gigantor. And thank you again. That last part is a joke, but I don't think the DCU is a total reboot. I think it feels more, I think it'll be a soft reboot, but then we're recasting, and then we have the Batman with Matt Reeves behind him, and then we have James Gunn's version of the Batman. It's just going to be a really interesting time. But then I think like nobody really paid any attention when the Joker came out. I didn't hear people,
and even with Matt Reeves, I don't think a lot of
people like, this is not my Joker. #, where's Jared Leto? You know what I'm saying? Like,
no one would ever have said that. That's not happening. It is interesting that it is a soft reboot. And like people are saying in the chat, there were mentions of like Superman and maybe mentions of the Flash and mentions of Batman, but we don't thankfully get a cameo by Wonder Woman with her famous theme music playing in the background.
I forgot about that.
Like, so we don't get that. That's nice. It's strictly just about Jaime Reyes, his family, the Cord family in the Cord Industries, and what's going on in Palmera City, right? So that's really, it's very focused in this area. There is no tie-ins anything like that. It stands on its own in terms of the DCU, which can lead to a lot of different places, which we'll talk about in a little bit after we give you our thoughts about the movie.
Okay, let's rock and roll. By the way, this version of Blue Beetle is focused on Jaime Reyes. It's not Dan Garrett and it's not Ted Kord, although
they are mentioned.
They may be somewhere.
They might be.
In a little bit. All right, Panda, take it away. What happens in this movie? Who's the leads? Who's the actor? Who's the director? Tell me everything I need to know, and I'll drink a beer while you're doing that.
Yep. So I don't know if you did this research. All right. So Blue Beetle, directed by Angel Manuel Soto. Starring this guy, Xolo Mariduena, which love this actor from Cobra Kai. So happy. Nope, he's not in that one.
I got it.
Love this actor. So glad to see him in this role. And yeah, just cannot praise him enough. Then we also have Bruna Marquezine as Jenny Kord. Becky G, which is, I think, a rapper or singer. She plays Kajida, which I did not realize she was the voice of her. Of course, George Lopez is his uncle, Rudy Reyes, who was featured very prominently in a lot of the trailers leading up to the movie's release, of course. Mm-hmm. And then a younger actress who's been up and coming. She's been in a couple other young adult properties named Belisa Escobedo. She plays Milagro, which is her sister. And then Susan Sarandon also plays Victoria Kord, which, spoiler alert, she's not a good guy.
And also not married to Ted Kord like a lot of us thought, including myself.
Yes. I thought she was his wife, yes.
Yeah, I was like, well, they killed Ted Kord off screen, so this must be his widow. No, it's his sister. And she feels like she was robbed of the inheritance that Ted and her father left Ted because he was a boy. There's a lot of that in there about feeling neglected, if you will.
Neglected, yes.
Not just from her, but well, you'll see. Carry on.
Yeah, no. So the movie really, like I mentioned before, centers around the Reyes family and, of course, Jaime, who has just returned from college with a pre-law degree, and someone should have told him that was not a good idea.
Where did he go to school?
Oh, Gotham. Was it Gotham University, right?
It was Gotham University as they call it, which makes it really interesting. I don't know if anybody has figured this out. I haven't looked online yet because I like to do our review first before I go online and look up, what other people thought and stuff. So Palmera City in the comics, I think it's based in Texas, like around Texas, right? Because you always have fictional cities in the world of DC. You have your Central City has the Flash, your Star City, Metropolis, Gotham, and now we have Palmera.
Bloodhaven. You can go on.
Yeah, exactly. But it feels like Palmera in this is like is it in Miami?
Oh, it 100% feels like it's based on Miami. Like that's exactly like somewhere in Florida is where I would gather, because they're like right there on the coast. There's all these little islands because there's the island where the Blue Beetle, like that's island. Everything's just off the coast. So to me, that's very Florida. That's what could be. Miami.
I thought so too, but the way they were talking, there was a scene that I'm like, oh, it's near Metropolis. Because and then they mentioned the Keys. Thank you for the super chat, brother. Mike Quarter Irish. Is there anything in the film that would contradict this movie's taking place in the DCU, or is it definitely set in the DCEU? It really, honestly, it's kind of in the middle. I really think they played it safe, like I said, from the marketing standpoint of like, hey, go and see this movie. It definitely takes place in the James Gunn era, but they never really like make any connections. They mentioned Superman. They mentioned Bruce Wayne. I don't think there's any pictures, though. We don't see Henry Cavill's picture in like a newspaper clipping.
No, we don't.
We don't see Ben Affleck. We don't see. I'm so sorry. Matt Reeves Batman.
Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson. Right.
Yeah. The only thing we
edge
see
keys. Edge keys.
Edge keys. Yeah, they kept calling the edge keys. The only thing that
that's what made me think at first. Thank you, Allison. And Jeff. That's what made me think at first that it was like in like Miami. It was down that area, right? Like where the Keys are. But then they said something else that made me think, oh, this is closer to Metropolis. But then I don't know the mapping of anything anyway, because Superman versus Batman made it obviously clear that Metropolis and Gotham are just across the pond from each other.
Very close. So let's not.
So I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not going to focus on the geography too much, but yeah, I'm not going to focus on the geography too much. I think it's good. I'm going
You
to
think
say
it's good? All right.
it's
Takes
in the
place in a
area of
fictional
Florida.
city. That's all we know.
Fictional
There we
city
go.
in Florida. Yeah. Though the only mention, that's what I was going to say, of Batman is, I didn't realize this, but I was looking afterwards. When the grandmother is watching TV, the news is on, and there's a thing saying that Bruce Wayne bought a dating app.
Yeah, it was like
story.
Gotham's favorite philanthropist. I remember that because I was pointing it
Yeah.
out to my brother that was sitting next to me. So
There we go. All right. So Jaime has just returned from college to find out, and his family does a really good way of just breaking the news to him that they're on the brink of losing their house because the rent's been raised because gentrification. And that is one of the themes that we see in the film. Basically, Cord Industries, which is not just about technology, but apparently also about real estate, are moving in.
Have we not learned anything from the greatest villain of all time, Lex Luthor?
Yeah,
it's all about land. Ever since Superman 1, it's all about land.
That is right.
That was the plot of Superman 1. It's land.
Blow that area up. Yes, that's true. That's very true. Good point. So because of gentrification, their landlord raised their rent to an astronomical price. The father's shop, basically his auto shop's not doing so hot. And so Jaime's like, wait, I'll help. And I love this because he's so optimistic, as I once was in 2008 when I graduated from college. I'm going to get a great job. I have a degree now. I'm going to make like $100,000 a year. And
don't we all have that kind of thought after getting out of college? Yeah. People are going to be knocking at my door. I got my degree now, baby.
Yeah, everyone wants me with my college degree. Yeah.
Thank you, Lance. I told my brother as soon as I walked out of the theater, boy, that had that 90s Guyver feel to it. 100%. And I'll explain my thoughts after Amanda's synopsis, though. I'll keep those thoughts. For the same thing, brother.
Yes. So cut to him now scrubbing gum off of the tables outside near the pool at Victoria Cord's house. So that's about as good as he could get, because that is the reality for a lot of people who just graduated from college. And it's no different here in this fictionalized city of Palmyra. So in this whole scenario, we also get to meet Victoria Cord, who has taken over Cord Industries after the disappearance of Ted Cord. So he's not dead. He is just missing. And that is like a prominent thing that's running throughout the entire film.
I kind of like this theory, though. What if Booster Gold prevented Ted Cord's death, and Ted is in the future with Booster? Oh. A man after my own heart.
And how's that explain that weird mid-credit scene? It's fine.
Shh. Did anyone else feel the family mention being Mexican a lot, like a drinking game? I want to talk about that after we give our synopsis. I want to talk about like the Latino influence in this and the things that worked and I think didn't work, but you know, everybody's going to think differently. So I'm curious what the chat thinks, and I'm curious what Amanda thought too. Cause we didn't have enough time to talk about it last night. We just kind of texted a little bit today.
Yeah.
So carry on.
No, yeah, you're fine. So Victoria Cord is his sister. She has taken over, as we mentioned earlier. And the other person who also has a seat on the board, but really isn't that involved in the day-to-day, is Jenny Cord, which is his daughter, which is Ted Cord's daughter. She's out doing philanthropy work, charity work, etc. But when she realizes that Victoria Cord is trying to create weapons, the OMAC system, which I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with that from the comics.
Oh yeah, it's a big Kirby creation. Yeah. John Byrne brought it back, but it's, what is it? One man army. Oh my gosh. One man army. It stands for something. I mean, did they even say it? One man army. Is it Corps? Is it Corps like the Green Lantern Corps?
I think it was spelled out in one of the the promotional videos, but I don't know if.
Well, in the comics is Corpse. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, that's what I thought. I couldn't remember. But yes. Thank you. In this, I don't think they said it. I mean, obviously it's in your face about what she's doing, building a one-man army, like in mini suits.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bill Owens. One-man army corps. I was right. The old brain still got it. Why does everyone do spoiler reviews now on the same day of release? When does it come out? It came out yesterday, Kingsport Cow. That's why we're doing it. Go and see it, man. Latinos represent.
Watch this later.
Go and see it and come back and watch it. Come back and watch it, my brother.
and see if you agree with us after you watch it. Yeah, so Jenny is not happy about this, and she confronts Victoria at her home at the same time that Jaime and his sister are there, cleaning the gum off of the tables and also taking a crap in their bathrooms. And her sidekick, Carapax, or her henchman, Carapax, who she had retrieved from Guatemala when they were down there, he almost attacks Victoria or Jenny, but then, of course, Jaime sees it and stops him. Then he gets subsequently fired, and so does his sister. So now they are both out of jobs, except Jenny's like, well, no, why don't you come by the Court Industries and I'll help you get a job. So now he's infatuated this woman. Oh, they're looking for your beer.
Yeah, Matt was.
So
I don't want to die from COVID. I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to laugh. I haven't heard anybody say that in a while. But good on you, my brother. Good on you. Yeah. Keep on healthy, man. Wait till it comes out on streaming. I'm sure it'll be out and streaming here in a month or so.
Yeah, next week The Flash will be on 8 or the Max. So
world's #1 movie of all time, Tom Cruise.
25th, next Friday. So
Tom Cruise giving his blessing will be on. That's crazy. All right. Let's
Yep. So, anyways, he deliberates about whether or not he's going to text her. And clearly this is now setting up our love interest for the story, which is Jenny Cord. And he eventually does text her, never gets a real response, but he does show up to Cord Industries all dressed up. And I have that image if you want to show it.
I got you.
His family who are just supporting him in all the things he does. And he's it's great family. His sister is, she doesn't want to go to college. She's just like kind of a loud mouth, in your face girl. And then you have Rudy, his uncle, who is a conspiracy theorist, doesn't trust the government. And of course his parents who love and support him. And his father's very optimistic about everything in life. Whatever hard things that come your way, we're ready for them. We can overcome them. And then his grandmother, who's just nice and quiet, enjoying her shows and her sewing,
shows,
who surprises us later on in the movie.
I will go ahead and say this though, that without the family, I think this definitely would have been a run-of-the-mill movie. Yes. Without the family, this would have been Marvel MCU Phase 1. And I mean, that's not a bad thing, but
no.
But if you've seen a superhero movie, this would have been like every other superhero movie. And taking the family, and I feel like maybe that's why they added some things and then took away some things. And I'll explain what I mean here in a little bit. I remember when I walked out of the theater, I was like, I liked a lot of it. And then there were things that I was kind of questioning, like what the reason was. But we have everybody in the chat that saw it. Maybe we can put our heads together and figure out
exactly
what it was. So
but no,
yes,
no, you're fine. But no, and that got me thinking too, because it's an origin story like ones we've seen many times before. And it's a teenager who in this case acquires technology, very much like Green Lantern, alien technology, but also he's a teenager doing not really a teenager, but a young adult dealing with young adult issues like Peter Parker, and like with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, we've seen it time and time again, but it's about what made it different, right? And it was like those friendships and that different things they brought to it with like Ned and MJ and things like that can help differentiate it from the other iterations of it. And I think that's why the family is so important in this. And obviously it's important because the villain mentions it a lot that he's weak because of his family. So it's important for his character growth that his family is in this film as well. So he does go to Cord Industries and he waits around for Jenny, even though there's no real appointment. The girl who keeps calling him Jamie at the receptionist's desk, even after he has repeatedly told her it's Jaime, is just making him wait around. Meanwhile, Jenny is inside Cord Industries and she is trying to steal the blue scarab that we see in the beginning of the film that Victoria Cord and Carapax had found in this massive orb-like structure out in the middle of like a desert area. Mm-hmm. So they are trying to do some research on it. She goes ahead and steals it in a little burger box. And of course, the scientist who's working on it sees that it's missing, sounds the alarm. She has to get it out very quickly. So she gives it to Jaime. And they escape with it. And she tells him, hold on to this. Do not open it. Do not touch it. Do everything. But of course, as soon as he gets home, his family also is like, but we cannot not look at it. So let's just open it up. So of course, at the encouragement of his family and their insistence, he goes ahead and opens it up. And they all look at it. Like other people do touch it, but it's not until he touches it when it says, that it realizes that this is its new host.
Dude,
and then we get to that scene.
That was so dark. Like that's what made me think, okay, I think at one point they were going to go a different way with this movie because I think, they added a lot more family elements into it because at this point it's like, holy crap, this is almost like body horror. That looks terrifying. That doesn't look fun. I can't imagine a kid sitting in the audience during that scene going, "Oh my gosh, I want to be Blue Beetle." Like,
no. Lyndon, my 7-year-old was like, "Mommy, that's so scary. Look what's happening." I was like, "It's okay. He's just turning into Blue Beetle. Look, it's just armor. I'm trying to reassure her that he's not hurt. He's fine. But yeah, that was intense because we only see.
Well, then it's embedded in his back and it's going into his brain, like.
Did it get
as a kid? That's why kids are like, I think I'll be Superman or Captain America.
Yes, yeah. They all want to be Spider-Man, even though he gets bit by a spider.
And honestly, the suit itself, brother, like that suit was very practical effects for, without the arms and stuff moving. This wasn't like Iron Man.
Oh no!
Where Iron Man wore just the top part, and then by the time you get to the third movie, Iron Man doesn't even wear anything except like a green suit. This was legit like a Xolo inside of this suit.
Yeah, because we saw the on-set pictures. So
and then you have the CG arms and stuff, which worked wonderfully. I love the scene when the kid with the camera comes running past Jaime at a corner, spider bite in his hand. Wait, that's another movie, Jeff. That's another movie.
It's close enough. Yes, might be another movie. Yeah, so he, of course, then we go on this whole adventure with him of the suit acclimating to its new host, making sure all of its systems are running. It takes him into outer space. It takes him down back to the street areas where he gets to test out his shields and his weapons. And eventually he does make it back home and he's pretty freaked out, right? So in the meantime, Jenny does find him and she tries to explain what it is. That was something that her father had found previously, and she doesn't know how to get it off of him. But if they go to this place, she knows where they can go, then they'll be able to maybe get it out of him. And then he won't have to have the Blue Beetle on his back anymore, or the Scarab. So the only way to do that is to get a key to basically, we realize is Ted's Cord's lair. That requires him to go back to Cord Industries. So when they do that, this is where we get Rudy's help. And Rudy, it turns out, while he is a conspiracy theorist and doesn't trust the government, and he probably has good reason not to, doesn't like the Cord Industries, thinks Batman's a fascist, all that stuff. He is very smart and he's very good with electronics and computers. And he has a device that is able to scramble the security guards' cameras to allow them time to go in and get what turns out to be Ted Cord's watch, right? Not necessarily a key, but it is the watch that is used to open up his lair and do all kinds of other things. So at the same time, Victoria Cord's alerted. So Carabax is sent over to find out who is trying to infiltrate Cord Industries. So we get our first fight between Carapax, who has been experimented on by Victoria Cord. So he's has one mechanical arm. He does have a metal spine in his back that's inside of his body that creates some type of armor. It's just not all the way connected. And he's a very powerful guy. He definitely go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say he's a little different than the comic book counterpart. So in this, they changed his origin up because in the comics, he was oh my gosh, I can't remember where he was from. I remember his name was Conrad, and he appeared right when DC was starting to publish Blue Beetle, because Blue Beetle was bought from another company.
Was it when Dan Garrett was Blue Beetle, or was it when Ted?
Well, no, Dan Garrett, Dan didn't even make. I mean, mention of Daniel Garrett was in the DC Blue Beetle comics.
Yeah,
but Dan was from another company because they had purchased.
Okay.
That's when Fawcett and Charlton characters came over, and because of Crisis on Infinite Earths, they were like, "Hey, we'll just put these characters in our comic book universe. So you have like Captain Marvel, Captain Atom, and Blue Beetle.
Mhm.
Those were some of the characters that showed up. But the character of Carapax was first introduced in those pages. And I want to say his origin is very much like Ted's too. Like archaeologist with yeah. So
Yeah,
it was a little different than here. But it's still a big machine guy too.
yeah, exactly. Still a big machine guy. And so we get our first fight with him and Jaime. And this is Jaime's first real test of working with the Scarab. And obviously, there is no symbiosis between the two of them. It's very much like a Venom situation where you have this.
Well, that's a good comparison.
Yeah, where you have this alien, well, technology in this case, not a being, that has latched onto him and it's trying to do its own thing. But he has his own way of doing things, right? He doesn't want to kill anyone. He doesn't want to kill the guy. He just wants to make him stop beating the crap out of him, while Rudy and Jenny are trying to help him, escape, right? With the watch. So it does lead to him almost getting pretty beat up in this fight scene. So he doesn't really necessarily come out on top. If it's not for Rudy, who ends up knocking into the guy, he probably wouldn't have gotten away in that instance. But of course, they are able to save him, and they do make it to Ted Kord's old estate, which Jenny used to live in until her mother died. And then Ted, basically, it looks like they abandoned it, and he probably stayed on to work on his Blue Beetle stuff because that's where his lair is. We get to see some cool Blue Beetle costumes.
Yeah, you see Dan Garrett's costume.
Yep.
And you see Ted Kord's costume. And then you see, I assume, what was going to be the third costume, that may be the Scarab. This is a really good question, and I'm going to answer as honest as I can. As someone who has had a history of loving Blue Beetle, do you think they did the character justice? So keep in mind, we're talking about Jaime and Rey as Blue Beetle. Yes, totally did him justice. If you're a fan of the classic Ted Kord and Dan Garrett, or Omac, like even the Kirby or John Byrne Omac, not so much. But that's the thing about these movies, right? Like they're just they're an adaptation of the comics, so a lot of people don't like the changes that movies make. I'm okay separating, the two mediums, like, but I get it. Some people can't. Some people, like X-Men casting somebody like Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, right? He's not a short, muscular dude, right? He's a really tall, good-looking guy, and if you can keep the two separate, the movies and the comics, this is a good movie. I'm not kidding. It's a different take on what they did with Ted and what they did with Dan, though. I'm just trying to answer as honest as I can.
Yeah. And keep in mind, I would hate it. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I would hate somebody to miss it because they love the comic so much.
Yes.
But if you can separate the two, then you'll be fine, man.
Yeah, no, and I agree. I think because with this movie is all about Jaime, right? And I think as far as, I love Jaime from Young Justice, the TV series, and of course read the Keith Giffen. So I really do love the character, and I think it did a really good job for his character. But it is like in media res as far as Ted Kord's journey. He already was Blue Beetle, and even when they go down to the lair and they find out that he's Blue Beetle, they don't like, Jaime's like, who's this? And Rudy's like, oh, he was like a superhero. Like he knew who he was. So he's been around for a while. So he was been a superhero for a while. So we don't know what his origin could have looked like. It could have looked very much like the comics for Ted Kord. We just don't know because we're not seeing his origin story. By this point, he's already been the Blue Beetle and now he's missing. Right. So that's kind of the way to play it. And I like that. I am interested to see what actor they're going to play because I had a theory when I started seeing the mid credits about who it was, and I'm wondering if you had any thoughts. I don't know if they've picked an actor yet. It could just be a random voice like Thanos, but there's an actor. I was like, that actually could be a cool Ted Kord. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. So while Rudy is trying to go through the computers to find out all the information he can about the Scarab and how to remove it, we have a nice heartfelt moment, which I thought was really well done between Jenny, who's talking about the death of her mother, and Ted Kord's disappearance and how all this stuff is weighing on her. And she's in her early 20s now. She hasn't talked about it with anyone in a long time. Clearly, her and Victoria do not have a close relationship for being a niece and an aunt, right? So she kind of tells all this stuff to Jaime and talks about how lucky he is that he has his family who loves him so much. And it is true. I mean, his family is there for him all throughout the entire story. And so they almost kiss. It was, oh, go ahead. Yes. Okay.
And it feels like that because so what Matt's saying is James Gunn has said that the DCU is a world that already had superheroes in it. Superman won't be the first in the DCU. Well, if you think about it, it definitely feels like it, right? If Jaime doesn't know who Blue Beetle is, but his uncle does, then it just means that superheroes are a dime a dozen now. And we've heard mention of other superheroes. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone said they did credit Kirby at the end when they listed. He was listed. So
yeah, at the very end, it's crazy
with
how much they like. Yeah. It's like after the gaffer, after the caterer. By the way, here are all special thanks to Keith Giffen, a special thanks to Jack Kirby, a special thing. It's so weird to see that. Like, all these people that made these comics are at the very, very end, and most of the ones. Well, no, some of them are still alive.
Yeah,
still alive. Yeah, there's some of them are still alive.
Blas, yeah. So this is the part, when Jaime stiffs up, some blood is rushing to us. That was a great scene. So like when they're getting close, they start to kiss, or they try to, but of course Rudy interrupts them, and Jaime has to do that cute little and this is definitely a PG-13 movie because he is 22. He's not going to act like they can't be completely not, young adult in that nature. Anyways, but he has to hide his growing erection because he's
growing erection.
That is the medical term.
I feel like some blood is rushing to the tip of your penis. Yes. Please don't ruin this moment.
So then basically Rudy pretty much tells him that there is no real way to remove the Scarab. The only way is if he dies. So he has to die, and then the Scarab will remove itself from the host to find its next host. So this, of course, does not sit well with Jaime. He's upset about all this, and he goes off, has a nice conversation with Rudy, and then they see Victoria Cord's her helicopter and all these other coming over towards the Edge Keys, and they realize that they're going after his family. So he activates his Kajida, and they have to go save his family, who are now basically. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, this is when he learns that this thing will awaken in him if he is threatened. So he wants to keep a host alive because it is embedded in his brain and his heart. So he decides, I'm just going to jump and try to kill myself. And he turns into Blue Beetle and flies away to go and save his family. So, yeah, pretty smart kid, right? Like, good kid, too. Does not kill. That's the one thing him and the costume argue over. He's like, hey, no kill. His family, on the other hand, which we'll talk about later.
No, they do not hesitate.
Like, where did you learn your values, man?
Yeah, when the bug ships land,
grandma shoot up the dudes left. I was like, hey, them dudes ain't walking.
Yeah, I don't think he realized how violent his family could get. Anyway, so yes, his family has been surrounded by this SWAT team that Victoria Cord has brought in. They rush them. They pretty much drag them out. It's very reminiscent of what would happen in maybe an immigrant sting or something like that would happen here in real life. And of course, Jaime does come to try to save them, uses his cool new stuff. He manages to get Kaji to get some stun guns and some cool little handcuffy things. I don't know if the actual term is for those, and creates the shields, trying to give his family time to get away. And of course, Victoria Cord sees that he has the Scarab on him. She wants to use this as an experiment. So she starts telling her people to shoot at his family. So of course, this makes him having to fight harder. While his family tries to escape, they not all of them end up making it out. His father does get injured. And I think, earlier in the film, they had mentioned he had a heart attack, but he was fine. And Jaime didn't know about it until he got back from college because they didn't want to worry him. They wanted him to finish college. They want him to graduate. And then they would tell him because he's fine. Everything was fine. Well, all of this obviously was probably too much for his father. And he does suffer another heart attack while Jaime is getting caught. getting dragged away, which is like absolutely devastating. Like he's screaming and he's captured, and the Scarab's been like kind of taken out for at this point. It can't really operate right now. Milagro, she's sitting there with her father crying because he's having a heart attack, and her mother and her grandmother come running over, and Rudy, and he basically can't even be there to watch his father, who ends up passing away, right, from a heart attack. And it is quite deep. That was a lot more traumatic than I thought it was going to be.
Absolutely. My daughter was crying. She was sitting next to me, and I think she started crying when he calls him Poppy, because that's what she calls me.
Yeah, I know. I thought about that too.
I was like, she was making me tear up, and I'm like, stop it. I'm trying to watch this movie. I wasn't expecting that. And I kind of agree with Allison. I feel like the death of the mentor trope, like the trope went to the wrong character, because I think Uncle Rudy should have gotten it, not Dad, who was just a nice guy. Like Uncle Rudy was the loudmouth, and well, yerba mala,
yes,
which is something my dad says. So I cracked up at that so much. I didn't know it was a Mexican saying. I guess it's a Latino saying. We say it in Peru, and but anyway.
No. I mean, and I'm okay with it being, cause we don't know how much Rudy was a mentor to Jaime prior to all of this.
He seemed to really love his uncle. Like he was all huggy. And but then again, in the Latino family,
they all love each other.
They were all like hugging and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm okay with it being his father, especially because he was helping his father with the shop, and he seemed very close to him. I mean, he was the one who was giving him pep talks in the beginning, right? It was him having that. It wasn't really Rudy. It wasn't until he needs Rudy to go do X, Y, and Z. And that's when him and Rudy, I think, got a little bit closer. But yeah.
Somebody was asking, I think it was Rafael, about the Kajida. That does come from the comics.
Yeah.
Like that all of that comes from the comics, not just in Jaime Reyes' comics, but all the way back to like Crisis on Infinite Earths, like all the way back to the Ted Kord era of the post-crisis, or I guess the Dan Garrett era of the post-crisis. That's what the Scarab is called.
Okay. So that's somewhat comic accurate. So he does get taken over to the island where they are doing the more experiments, and he is attached to this machine that's basically going to take the code from the Scarab and then place it in all of the OMAC, including Carapax, who is now attached. The code will be attached to them so they can all have the Scarab's code, essentially. And it could kill him. The scientist, who is not Sanchez, he's De La Cruz, but she loves to call him Sanchez because Victoria Cord may be a little bit of a racist. I'm just putting it out there. She might be a little bit of a racist.
A rich woman not remembering her help's name? That's a very common trope.
That's a very common trope. It didn't help that she also had a hair. Someone pointed this out when I was watching someone else do like Easter eggs and stuff. She does have a very Hillary Clinton haircut, and I was like, "Damn it, I can't get that out of my head."
Hillary Clinton haircut? I didn't even notice. What did she? Do we have a picture of her?
Nope.
No, you got the Buster sword.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, so the guy's a big anime, and like he had Pokemon manga on his shelf. He had he had superhero posters, video game controllers. So whenever you have a character like that, and you know, Kajida is like, yeah, use your imagination. He pulls out the Buster sword from Final Fantasy VII, which I'm not even the biggest fan of, but I knew what it was. And I was like, man, yo, look. And he started doing the moves like Cloud's move, like oh my gosh. I can't even remember the name of any of those moves, but it was pretty cool to see that.
Yeah, I really like that. So he's there. He's trapped with Victoria Cord, Carapax, De La Cruz. And meanwhile, the family's like with Jenny, and they're like, we have to go save Jaime. We can't let him just get taken.
That was a grandmother. Yeah, grandmother says we don't have time to cry. We cry later.
We cry later. I was like, wow, she has gotten like, and this very unassuming grandmother up to this point, right? She like, even when Jaime had made the power go out and her sewing machine went off, she was like, like it just goes back to try and do whatever she was doing. She was very unassuming until this point.
Very, very grandma.
Yes, and the actress, when I looked her up, she is been an actress for a very long time.
Oh yeah, yeah. She's
we've seen before.
Pretty much any movie that has a Latino actor that's come out to America.
Yes.
Yeah. She's been in it. She's been in it.
Yes, she has. So basically, Jenny's like, I might be able to help. She takes them to Ted's lair, to his bug ship, which is really cool. And they get to play around with all of the
picture of her with the gun.
Try to find a picture of her. All of the weapons, and that's when they get to see Ted Cord's arm, like his mechanized fist shield component, I don't know, glove or whatever he has.
The power glove?
The power glove, yes. When he has the power glove that Milagro gets to wear, and then the grandma takes out this massive like
Gatling
gun. And they're like, she's like, Grandma, or she's like, Nana, how do you know how to hold this?
She's like, down with the imperialists.
Like, remind me to tell you about your grandmother's time in the revolution. I was like, oh my gosh. So that's when we find out Grandma's kind of a badass. And they do make it to the island. So they kind of get that. That's when we get a lot of killing on their end, not from Jaime, but when Rudy lands, he basically impales one of the guys guarding the outside entrance to the castle area that they're hiding out in. And of course, Grandma's got the gun and she's just laying it on everyone really, really well. And so Jenny and Milagro go off to go find Jaime, and Rudy kind of stay with the ship. And of course, Jaime is able to, at this point, might be about to die. And at this point, when he's at that verge of death, when you get to that point, so I've heard, you might connect with someone from the other side. And in this instance, he's connecting with his father, having a moment with his father, and basically realize it's time to be one and fully synthesize with the Scarab. So you have this really trippy dreamlight sequence of him jumping to the Blue Beetle version itself. We do get another Adam and
really wanted to see the Flash running.
Yeah,
running in the middle with the multiverse.
And he ends up in no. I'm so glad we got none of that. So he's able to synthesize or sync with the Scarab and become one Scarab. So he's able to release himself, but the Scarab's still rebooting the systems. De La Cruz decides that he's going to save him. He lets him get out, and he locks the door behind him. And then Carapax kills him right in front of Jaime. Really, just blood everywhere.
That was another scene that I was like, I think this movie was supposed to go in a different direction at one point, and they added a lot of family into it.
Yeah, they did.
Because it was like, he let him go, and he's like, go. But instead of going, Jaime just stays there and watches this dude just explode and blood everywhere.
Yes. Yeah, Blas, that's what he did, which I was like, I feel like I saw that already earlier this summer.
Michelangelo's, right? Like the creation. It's the same thing. But you know what? Like, I'm sure
they did in Guardians
James Gunn approved it. It's not like he didn't do it already.
He did it in Guardians, so of course.
That's what I meant. It's like he approved this, so it's not like he went, we need to take that out.
Because we already did it. I just did it.
I just did it, even though Michelangelo did it long before I did.
It's all good. It's okay. So this
that scene was beautiful, man. I don't know anybody that didn't think of their dad when that was going on, especially if you're Latino, right? That was a really beautiful scene. Did Flash do the finger? Did he? I feel like there was a slow motion with his finger.
Yeah, I think there might have been something to God. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So essentially, this is where we get our final battle scene. Victoria's trying to escape with the code, and Jenny's trying to stop her. Jenny and Milagro at this point have gotten separated, but she's able to use the power glove. Grandma comes in, shoots a bunch of guys down.
And when we say power glove, if you haven't seen this, I mean a Nintendo power glove. The Nintendo power glove that Ted Cord, for some reason, was using. Yeah.
So... And then Carapax, of course, is going after our Jaime, and they have their big fight scene. That's where we get the Buster Sword, and we get him trying out the new features. And of course, at this point, now that they're synced, the Scarab also doesn't want to kill. So the Scarab, because now that its code, her code, I don't know, its code is inside of inside of Carapax, it's able to see inside of his brain too. And so she ends up stopping Jaime because he wants to, right? He wants to kill this guy. And
I'm so sorry, but my daughter kept mentioning this. She's like, Poppy, I don't think they're translating this right. Anytime there was a curse word or, like, because it just doesn't make any sense in English, right? Like the translating it in English wouldn't make any sense. So it doesn't have that same effect. So I think they had to localize it in a way, which is okay. We've seen that, with anime. They had to get as close to the meaning as you can, even though they were using different body parts, which I find really interesting. Carry on, Panda.
No, you're fine. So when we get to that final fight scene, he is able to overcome Carapax. That's when the Scarab shows him in his brain or his mind what Carapax's past is. And clearly he was taken from Victoria Cord, pretty much became a weapon, right? Saw his mother die before his eyes because I'm assuming Cord Industries, someone had dropped some bombs in Guatemala.
Yeah, the bomb had the name Cord.
Yeah, so it was. So
very Iron Man, right? The Stark and the whole Whiplash thing.
Oh yeah, exactly. So he's had a really terrible past, and his current state is also not great. And he decides to spare his life, and Carapax is like, "Why?" And he's like, "You're wrong. My family's what makes me strong." Right. And then, of course, that makes Carapax turn over a new leaf, and Victoria is trying to get him to kill Jaime because by this point, Jenny's destroyed the code, the whole place. She helped make it blow up. So any of the OMAC that was in there is probably blown up to this point. We assume some of it could be left over because we have future movies that maybe it'll appear in. And Carapax decides he's not going to listen to Victoria and instead grabs her and drags her into the fire and basically commits like a murder-suicide. I was also not expecting that. Like when you say like there's two different movies, like
like I said,
really dark.
I feel like somebody wrote a different part of the movie than the family, and then it's like no death. Psycho Cleveland, if you don't go see this movie right now, you're not helping the cause. Okay,
no,
it was a fun movie. I dug it. But we do need to break it down and take a step back and talk about, the things that worked, the things that didn't work.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
So there is an after credit.
Yes.
2 after credits, one with El Chapulín Colorado, which brings back memories. If you're a fan of The Simpsons, I was trying to explain to my youngest daughter, you know the bee guy? Ay, qué lástima, that guy.
Yes.
That was kind of a joke on El Chapulín Colorado, which was a Chespirito in it was one of his characters. I watched El Chavo del Ocho growing up, but El Chapulín Colorado was also his character that he did. Just a guy that dressed up like a cockroach, like a red cockroach. But that was like the claymation one.
Okay.
But before that, it's the most important after credit scene, and that is Ted Kord is asking, is anyone out there? Yeah. Somebody turn my computer on. Go and tell my daughter that her dad is still alive.
And you don't see the face. It starts.
Right, so they can really cast anyone they want to, right?
But so I thought it was Jason Sudeikis. I honest to God thought it was him when I saw
really?
It.
I could see him as Ted Kord.
Me
I like
too.
that.
I was like, that'd be a good Ted Kord. And Ted Lasso's done. He could be another Ted. So I'd be good with that. But I really did think it was him. I mean, obviously, I don't remember seeing I was trying to look for the voice. I don't remember if I saw the voice in the credits or not. But I am interested to see if they do cast a Ted Kord and who it will be.
Oh, I mean, if this movie does well, you can bet your butt that they'll cast a Ted Kord. I'm not comparing it to Thanos, right? When we didn't have a Thanos, like at the end of Avengers, right? That was nobody. And then when was it? Like in the Guardians of the Galaxy, it was just
2014. That's when
it wasn't until later. So I'm excited to see where this goes. I really hope this does well, but I do want to talk about the movie and what worked and what didn't. To me, I stepped out of the movie and I told Amanda, I'm like, this feels like a little 90s flair. I don't know why. Maybe it was the overall feeling that I got out of it was like a 90s type of movie. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't mean like a bad 90s. I mean like, I don't know, things that I really enjoyed.
I thought early 2000s, especially the ending where she shows up on the motorcycle to their like family wake and her like all looking all cute, and then he flies off with her in the end after they make out. I said that is very much how a lot of the superhero movies ended in the early 2000s.
Yeah, and okay, so the things that I liked about it were the cast. I'm not the biggest fan of George Lopez, but he did not get on my nerves in this movie.
I thought it was fantastic.
I'm not a fan of like his type of comedy, but yeah, he was good in this. And he was on screen a lot more than I thought he was going to be. Yeah. And the whole family was on screen a lot more. And I really dug that. Because you don't see that in movies, right? You don't see that in superhero movies. Usually the tropey thing that, I'm sorry, I think it was Allison that mentioned it earlier, is let's kill a family member, let's kill the girlfriend, let's kill the boyfriend, let's kill the pet, whatever it is, to keep the John Wick even had a trope like that.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like to make the hero come out and like,
motivate them,
keep them moving and inspire them. But in this, it was like, no, the hero needs to be rescued, and our badass grandma, which to me, normally that joke that went on a little too long would have gotten on my nerves, but it was charming enough that I'm like, I still dig it. It works. Yeah. They were like, no, we got to go and rescue Jaime. That was a cool twist. I love that.
I like that twist a lot.
I really like that about this movie. And it's one of those movies, like I said, it feels like it's a family movie, but also has a lot of violence in there that I quite enjoyed. The cast, oh my gosh, I really like the cast. Xolo, the girl, the young lady that was from Brazil.
Yes, Bruna is her name, Jenny Cord.
Yeah, she grew on me, because at first I'm like, is she a bad actress or does she have a accent? I couldn't figure it out, and then when you started seeing her more and more, you were like, oh, she's not, she does have an accent, and then she explains she's from Brazil. So way to go, Ted.
Good for you, Ted.
Good for you, Ted.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure. Well, when she started crying, like that whole scene where she was laying it all on to Jaime.
No, yeah, that
was for me. I was like, that was awesome. But Xolo was born to play this role.
He's just charismatic, and he brings that.
Yes.
The kid you want to root for. I mean, he does the same thing in Cobra Kai, right?
No, but I mean, I think he's grown since then too.
And don't get me wrong, this is a different character than his character in Cobra Kai, but it's still like, he's such a good kid. I just want to cheer for him, and he doesn't kill, so good for him, even though his family is full of murderers.
Even his sister would have killed if she was given a chance.
But you know what? They killed his daddy, so I don't blame him. Whatever.
Retribution, yes.
I really like that about the villains. Actually, I kind of liked what they did with the villain. He wasn't one dimensional. They gave him a purpose, and they gave him a drive, and that I like the whole turn on the family aspect. Family is what makes you weak, and he realizes that because he doesn't have a family that made him be weak. It was very interesting that they did that.
Yeah.
What about you? The things you like? Because I have a couple more things I wanted to talk about, and then
No, I mean, I think the cast for me was probably the strongest point of the film, and I think that Angel Manuel Soto, the director, did a good job in making the choices he made with the cast. It was everyone just seemed to just work seamlessly together. And I thought about like Susan Sarandon's character as the villain. I mean, we can't have two complex villains, right? So if we're going to make Carapax the one that has kind of more nuanced, like if he's good or bad, then let him be that, and let Susan Sarandon be our one-dimensional villain, because we can't have all the villains be complex, right? Someone has to be. Yeah. She did a great job in that role.
So if somebody's going to be the one-dimensional rich villain, I mean, if Flint Glomgold has taught me anything, is that when you get too much money, you just turn evil, and that's just what happens.
Yeah, money.
So money. I was okay with with her, being the
I was okay with it. And I think Susan Sarandon did a good job. She's a great actress. She is good in those roles. I thought and that's what, and I think that came down to also the writing too, the way they wrote each of the characters, the dialogue between the characters, it was very strong. Like you can tell they put a lot of love into the interactions between the characters. And while maybe some of the plot, I know you want to talk about maybe the plot points and what might have been changed and things like that. But for me, it was just, how they wrote the characters together, I thought was very strong. And because you're only as good, like the actors can only be as good as the dialogue they are given with to work with, right? For a lot of, some people can overcome bad dialogue or bad scene acting. But I think that in this case, I really liked the way it was written in that aspect. Whether or not the overall story could use some work. Yes. Was it an average, run of the mill in that terms, origin story with the big climactic third act battle scene? That might be a little bit CGI. It was in the dark. So some people were like, but at the same time, that's every superhero film is like that. So what makes it different? And that's his family and the way they write them together. So for me, I think that was probably my favorite part of the film. And also the Ted Kord mystery. I love a good mystery.
Yeah, I think what you said was on point. I think having the script, I'm not sure if the script writers are Latino or not.
Well, did you not see the list of everyone? I felt like everyone was
Latino.
Yes. Yeah. Like
I thought you were just making a joke.
No, I was serious.
Because I feel like it does hit it like at first because I don't know how anybody else is, but I'm this way. Like when I'm watching a movie, it's almost like I never like it when Latinos that are living in America in movies start using like the forced dialogue, like, and I'm not talking about essay or something like that, but it like the force, every other sentence is spoken in Spanish or every other word is in Spanish. And they go back to English just to almost spoon feed you that these people are Latino. In this, it just felt really natural.
Oh yeah, it did.
The way they were delivering their lines, and honestly, a lot of the nicknames they would call the kids, like Cabezon and stuff like that, that hit close to home. I'm like, oh my god, my mom and dad do that. Like, and I'm not kidding with the whole yerba mala and all that stuff like that. My dad says that, and I by the end of the movie, I was like, they really did a lot of research, or they had some real Latinos writing the script.
Yeah, the writer is Latino. He's written,
and I think that helped.
Alberto
didn't seem forced.
Yeah, he's Hispanic.
Allison was saying that earlier. I wanted to go back to that point about that. It feel like the family was saying that they were implying that they're Mexican a lot. Yeah, but as a Latino like that lives here, my family does that too. Even my cousins that are mixed, we always joke about that.
Oh yeah, my husband is half. Yeah, my husband is from half size from Virginia, but he always talks about being Peruvian because it's just that's how it is.
I'm not interested in this movie. Identity politics are such a turn off. Would it have been better if Ted Kord was in this? Because I didn't see any identity politics, man.
Yeah,
just on one movie.
And I figured there were gonna be some people who are like, oh, there's just it is. I like the way they positioned it though, because it is something that does happen. It's not like it's not a real thing. Gentrification is a very real thing that happens.
Yeah, but I don't think. I mean, in the point that they're making, I assume you haven't seen the movie. You've just heard of reviews, right?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know what you mean. I don't know your definition. I really don't know what the fuck identity politics is. To this day, I'm a 45-year-old man, and I have no idea what the hell people are talking about when they talk about identity politics. I just saw a family of Latinos hanging out, and they have their first Latino superhero dude, and that's the way my family would react if my ass donned a costume. And you know what I'm saying? Like, so it felt like really close to home for me. And I don't know how anybody else felt, but it wasn't. Yeah. It didn't. The dialogue didn't seem forced. The script didn't seem forced, and the jokes that we're making about like them being Mexican, absolutely. It's how Latinos joke, and I don't mean that as a stereotype. It's just the way we are. So, it's not a perfect movie though, because I did have issues with it.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of those issues, because you had said when we came out that you had some issues. So what were some of the main things that you just took issue with? on this film.
Oh, really quickly, this is so true. But let's, to be honest, as Latinos, we're super double-sided. Like, we are proud, but at the same time, we despise our own people in Mexico. We call it being malinchista. I think that comes with any race. That's every race, and it doesn't matter where you're from. In Peru's the same way, brother. Where I'm from, absolutely.
I make fun of white people, and I'm white all the time.
White people, it doesn't matter. I think every race is like that, right? Every race looks down. I don't know. All right. The things I didn't like about it were the special effects, unfortunately. Like, just outside of the practical suit, which was cool.
Yeah, it was.
Nothing unique in the special effects. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great either. There wasn't anything unique. There wasn't a bland of like, and I'm not talking about like something stupid and stereotypical, like colors, like the Mexican flag colors or anything like that when he does an attack. I'm just talking about like, how Doctor Strange, the first one, despite how people feel about it, had a very unique look to it.
It did.
Like Inception. Okay. But still, you get what I mean.
I understand what you're talking about.
And trying to think of another movie, like, well,
even with like with Guardians, right?
Ant-Man, when he goes into the quantum realm, has that unique look to it of the quantum realm. So when he was in the afterlife with the dad and the candles, I was in the connection to Kajida. I kind of wanted a more unique, almost like an alien type. Because I mean, if that is an alien Scarab, then I wanted something out of this world, if you will. Yeah, but that was one of my biggest issues, was that that the special effects just didn't. Then they weren't wowing. They were just at times. Oh my gosh, the bubble gum, that looked bad. Like when her and Susan Sarandon like are in the bubble gum, it just looked so bad.
Yeah, I mean it was special effects, and
hold on a second. I think nowadays people want to see gory movies like Logan and Joker. They don't want to see kids movies like Blue Beetle.
I don't know.
I think they want to see both, right? I think they still want to see fun movies, but they also want to see like a more serious take, like the Joker, right? And Logan, and honestly, Barbie, like I have no idea what the American audience wants to see after Barbie, because I know, I like, all kidding aside, I thought Barbie. I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. I thought Barbie was gonna. I think it was Matt. Was gonna be good, right? Like was gonna do well in the box office. I had no idea it was gonna become the #1 fucking movie that Warner Brothers put out.
Yeah.
I get to
the lighting of the fight scene. I mean, we always, I don't know. I sometimes always like, I hate fight scenes that happen in the dark. And that is how that final fight scene.
Well, DC does that a lot, whereas Marvel does it in the daytime, right?
Yeah. And I would have liked to maybe see that. That one of the things that in terms of the fight scenes, and maybe it's because we didn't get to see enough of him in the costume. I do feel like he wasn't in the Blue Beetle costume as much as he was out of it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's because of, budget or whatever the case may be, but I felt like we didn't get enough time of him in to really experiment with the suit. He gets very brief time, really by the end. I mean, he does have the scene at his house, but yeah, we didn't see a lot of him in the suit as I thought we were going to see, that I would have liked to see. And so it kind of made some of the fight scenes, besides the fight scene at the end, I don't know, they didn't seem unique to me, that I was be like, that's a cool fight scene. It's so different. Mm-hmm. But it's like anything I would have seen Iron Man do with his things, or, you know what I mean? I was like hoping for a little bit more of unique flavor to it, but I guess I just didn't see that. With maybe if he created more weapons by himself besides the Buster Sword, that would have been cool. Like unique weapons, right? Like I was hoping that I would see more, right? I was like, now you can create them, so let's create more stuff. What else can you create?
And I wonder if that's more of a, hey, we only have this much, or a we can't say Hadouken or Kamehameha, even though you're a geek that reads these things and you want to do it, right? Because I'm sure they could have done it, right? Like he would have done a Hadouken or something, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because they didn't need any copyright strikes on them or something like that.
Yeah.
I think one of my biggest issues is the inconsistency in the plot. Like
Yeah.
outside of the special effects, like I said, if it wasn't for the family, I think this really would have been a run of the mill type of movie. Like old dude here talking about identity politics. If this had been a Ted Kord movie, you take Ted Kord and his family.
Yep.
I don't think it would have been as fun to watch.
No,
Like,
it would have been
as
like
this.
Iron Man 1. He's fighting against
Which is,
some,
yeah,
yeah.
15 years ago. Cool. 2023. How many times are we going to see this?
Yeah.
And honestly, when you were talking about the suit, maybe part of the saving grace of the movie was having him out of the suit as long as he was. Because, like I said, the actor is really charming and you want to root for him.
See his face, right? Because as soon as he's, you can't see his emotions. So I do like that the mouth moved, like he, just like in the comic, his mouth moved when in the suit. That was a nice touch. I did like that.
So some of the jokes didn't land for me, but I think it worked in the theater. You know, people were laughing.
Yeah, I like
George Lopez's character, very, very conspiracy theory, right? Which we've seen in movies before, and we kind of know where that trope was going to go. A lot of the jokes were really, really expected, with the exception of the grandma. I didn't see that coming, and maybe that's why I laughed way too hard about that. I was laughing my ass off way too long about the grandma with the Gatling gun.
It really did come out of left
field. She lets her hair down. I was like, where was this lady? Was she fighting in the revolution? So
cool, apparently it's what her mom said. Yeah.
So it does, adding that little Latino flair, I think, helped the movie in the long run. I don't know how well it will do in the box office. Somebody was saying, and this is a really good comment, I wonder too. I hope there are hordes of geeks in blue at the movies for this one, a la Barbie, watchers in pink. Yeah, I don't know if they'll come out or not.
Exactly.
She dropped the chancla. Yes.
What a two.
Any movie with a main character other than white equals identity politics. People
or other than a man, because I'm sure Barbie got identity politics.
Yeah, it's okay. We get them in the chat from time to time. I just take the time to point out that I don't even know what the hell they're talking about half the time, because I really don't. Way too old to look up that shit. There's absolutely no need for an R-rated Superman movie at all.
There's a whole thing in the chat about R-rated
movies need to be.
That people like.
Was Zack Snyder's Justice League? Was it R-rated?
The one that came out on HBO Max or Max now?
Yeah. I thought it was just PG-13.
I think it was too. I mean, but it's on Max, so did HBO Max, whatever. It doesn't, I don't know if it really counts because it's not in theater.
I like that movie. An R-rated movie, though, would be awesome. I think movies like The Joker and Deadpool have really made people think, ooh, can you imagine what it would be like to have Wolverine and Logan. But Logan, I mean, if you think about it, the best comics of Wolverine are rated teen.
Yeah.
He only had one Max line, which sucked, by the way. So we don't really need a R-rated. But I guess, I don't know, some movies, some characters do.
I mean, the problem is if those movies do well. The Joker I am surprised by, but I mean,
same. Or Venom? Was Venom R-rated?
No, PG-13.
Like a turd in the wind.
Yeah. Is Sony gonna make
shout out to the Guatemalans out there mentioned 3 times? Right. Yeah. It wasn't just Mexico, right? A lot of Latino representation. It was cool. It was cool to see on screen. At 12 years old, I would have been flipping out.
So excited, right? Because it's your culture and it's you get to see yourself on screen in a very authentic way, not forced way too. And that's what I love.
Not like it was in the 80s.
Oh, yes. Or the 90s, or heck, even maybe the early 2000s. Let's be real.
Depending on who the writer, what the movie is. Okay. Outside of that, I didn't have any problems with it. It was a fun movie. What about you? I mentioned the things I didn't like, and you mentioned some of the.
Yeah, I mentioned the fight scenes. Maybe
the music though. Yo, the music. The music, we didn't talk about the music because early on in the music, like whenever they kicked on Selena, right? Like,
Oh, I
so you
did.
gotta
Yes.
use
Yeah.
Selena,
I
right?
heard the people. I was like, oh, this is very exciting. Because I just cast that actor.
Luis Miguel was in there, and then
Yep.
Motley Crue. You know,
Yes, Motley
Motley
Crue
Crue
came in
scene
because
with the
that was
bug
Ted Cord's ship. So I didn't
makes
know
sense.
Ted Cord was a Motley Crue fan, but there we go.
Ty Cruz in the
But it
80s.
worked well, and maybe that was his influence. James Gunn. We were trying to figure out what James Gunn came in and did, right? Because you had mentioned that he did go in post production. Maybe he just put Motley Crue in there. No, I mean, honestly, there wasn't too much I disliked about the film. I mean, besides the fact that it was very without the family, it was a very average superhero plot, right? Without it,
Oh yeah, if you take a step back and look at the plot, you're like,
yeah,
I don't want to see this.
yeah, it's a
If
villain
you
who's
break
trying to
down the
make
plot
War
like you did,
Machine.
yeah,
Yeah, which maybe
this is just
Armor Wars will be
average.
about with like
This
John
is
Cheadle.
what my dude said earlier. Guyver in the 90s with Mark Hamill based on the anime. And there's nothing wrong with that. I happen to like it. But I walked out of the theater thinking they had that like Guyver vibe to it, mainly because of the suit, maybe because it's blue.
And also the in your face advertisement of Ally Bank, who is the financier of my van lease. They pop up in the because they have like these holographic ads within Palmyra City all over the place. And I just like,
oh yeah,
a
lot of Cord ads. There was a LexCorp ad I remember in the movie too. So ties to the overall DC universe. It's gonna be interesting to see what stays and what goes. Now the toughest part for anybody that has seen it and my wonderful co-host, out of 10, what would you give? The first, maybe James Gunn DC universe, I guess, depending on how well it does. Jaime Reyes' debut in the DC live action. Anybody has seen it? Out of 10, what would you give it? Ladies first.
I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
7.5. That's pretty good. I go. You know, I think about it. After the movie, like when I walked out of the movie, I thought, okay, it's pretty fun, but I had issues with it. And then the more I thought about it, and I talked to my daughters on the way home. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good point. I like that too. And the whole father-son relationship, and even though it was tropey, still needed, I guess. But it was handled really well. For me, yeah, this was a 8. I liked it. Yeah. I liked it. I hope there's more.
Agreed. Yeah.
But who knows? You know, I think it's going to be one of these movies that unfortunately is going to get just forgotten about because it wasn't advertised well at all. I mean, we had a trailer and a trailer and a half. That first trailer doesn't. We have the writer's strike going against the actor strike. Man, it just sucks.
Really is going to be, it's really.
It was a fun movie, and I definitely recommend people going to watch it and
I do
checking it out for themselves. If you haven't seen it, if you just watch us, to get our reviews. 9.8 out of 10, very bad. 10 out of 10. My man Blast liked it. Oh wait, he's got Ted Cord on there. I don't think I made that connection.
I don't think I did.
Out of 10
for DC.
Let's see here. When compared to the phenomenal Blue Beetle, Zack Snyder's Justice League is just a more Hollywood. All right, Amanda, did you create another account in Super Chat?
No, that's all Jack Ferry.
Nothing wrong with Zack Snyder's Justice League. That movie was awesome. Come on, Jack Ferry.
He's in my head. He's just in my head right now, thinking about it.
8.5 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10, 7 out of 10. I just wanted to watch it again in the theater, and that's automatic 8 out of 10. And that's the way I feel.
Yeah. I would.
I wanted to take my family again, and maybe my dad to go see it if he doesn't fall asleep like halfway through it. 8 out of 10. I think he would like a lot of the jokes. 8.5. Can't be 10 out of 10 without Florence Pugh playing Jaime Reyes. I did see her in the ad to Dune 2. I didn't know she was gonna be in that. Why didn't I think she was gonna be in it?
I don't know. We've seen that trailer before.
I know. I don't know. I forgot. I guess.
Yeah.
7 out of 10. How often is there a 9 out of 10 movies? This year, I think Guardians up there for us.
Oppenheimer was pretty close.
Oppenheimer was really good.
That was great.
You gave Barbie a 9 out of 10.
I did.
You?
Well, it's
Yeah.
for me. It was.
Oh, no, I think you gave it 9.5. It was good. It was good. May eventually, Phil, you would like it. It's a fun. As long as you go into it, separating the comics from the movie, right? You will have fun.
100%.
I think it had 2 videos on WB channel compared to Barbie's 10 videos. Oh, the ads. Yeah, they didn't. This one was not marketed well. They have a Spanish dub version, by the way, Omar. Doubt my parents want to watch it, but my dad. Dude, ask. They do have the upcoming trade paperback. This is really cool, and it's not the first time they've done this. The upcoming trade paperback is going to be simultaneously released in English and in Spanish in America. And I thought that was so cool. DC's doing that. Yes, it was very fun. Need to rewatch it. 8.5 out of 10. Well, you thought Guardians 3 was a 9 out of 10. I can't remember what I gave it. I really liked Guardians 3. Did you not like it, Phil?
Yeah, you know how
really
many times I've watched that since I got it digitally? I saw 3 times.
I bet Phil did not like the treatment of Adam Warlock.
No, I think maybe that knocked it for you down a couple of pegs. Someone asked if we rated it higher than Shazam 1. I think we rated this about the same as Shazam.
I really liked Shazam 1. I remember
like a 9 out of 10.
I think I did. The first one was great.
Someone come on back to our channel.
Somebody go back and check out where's James? He's taking.
I didn't give the Flash anything higher than that.
The Flash was a masterpiece. I hate you.
I think
Me and Tom Cruise are on the same level because we both think the Flash is a masterpiece.
No.
Actually, no. Okay, all kidding aside, I didn't think it was a masterpiece. I thought it was good. I thought it was fun. I liked Zack Snyder's Justice League. With the exception of Matt and I were talking about this, like it for some artsy reason he made it full screen. What? Why did he do that? Okay, let me get back to the chat. What do you guys think of Palmetto City as a setting in the movie? A lot different than the broody city of Gotham, a lot different than the big skyscrapers of Metropolis. So I like the change. It's good.
We didn't get to see much of Star City though, because the Flash was like back in time and doing his stuff. So.
Central City. Central City.
Yeah, we didn't get to see much of that. So
I can't wait for Green Arrow's debut though in the movies. The marketing led up to this movie seemed very focused on, hey guys, look, a Latino superhero. As a Hispanic, I don't care for this. I mean, the Spider-Verse had Latinos, but then, and I think that's the problem, right? You need that's what I was talking about earlier about the dialogue. Like I always hate when I go into a movie and you always have characters that remind you they're Latino by speaking in Spanish from time to time for absolutely no reason and never bringing it back. Here, it was consistent in the way that they did it. It felt natural, like my family would. The Snyderverse is a dumpster fire, hot garbage. Are you sure you didn't? Are you not? Are you Jack Perry?
But I'm here for it. Whatever it is, Jack, I'm here for.
Jack, I like Justice League.
There's a movie I will never return to watch.
Oh, I can't wait to rewatch it. Was it really that good? Because it was.
I don't think that's
8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Guardians is a 10 out of 10 movie. Gun confirmed. Booster Gold, Metamorpho, Guy Gardner, and now Ted Cord.
Oh, maybe
getting a live action. Okay, let me. Okay.
I get ahead of ourselves.
Gun needs to pump the brakes a little bit, not start claiming these things. We got to see how well these movies do first.
Yes, and
let's see how well. I'm curious how this one does.
I am, but I'm also curious about what happens in Superman Legacy. And like he said, everyone was complaining about him overcrowding Superman Legacy.
I don't like it.
He said, and he was like, "What do you mean? There were a ton of characters in 40-Year-Old Virgin, and no one seemed to have a problem with that." And I was like, okay.
Let's not compare that to 40-Year-Old. What are you doing, James Gunn? What are you doing, James Gunn? Yes, I'm a big Warlock fan. I hated that I knew that was the problem. I love you, man. I also hated the casting. G3 was a solid 1.5 out of 10. Maybe don't go watch Blue Beetle.
Don't go watch Blue Beetle.
Guy Gardner's going to be in Soup's Legacy. Yep.
Nathan Fillion.
Yep, that's what we've heard.
Very excited.
You think a misaligned Just Jacket for JLI Omni Volume 2 is a thing to fuss about replacement-wise? You can fix that. I fixed mine. I've gotten so many, not just from DC, but also Marvel. Guardians was definitely a 9 out of 10. So was The Flash for me. I loved it. I like The Flash too, man. Apart from this, let's not talk about the CGI.
The uncanny valley that they live in.
All right, here we go. Omar, you gave Shazam out of 9. I told you. Look at it. Look.
Yeah, I really liked it.
There's my DJ. Look, I told you liked it. 9.5.
James, what did we give Shazam to? Go back and look at that review.
Yeah, James is like this. Like, does she think all I do is watch her videos all day? He's over here like trying to find the video.
He was in the chat when we did the Shazam too. I know it wasn't a 9.5.
Does everyone here rate shit? I guess I did because I gave Flash an 8 out of 10.
Did you? What did I give the Flash?
You didn't like it. You gave it like a 7.
I did not.
I mean, well, no, you did. You liked it enough to give it like a 7 or a 6.5.
I think I gave it like a 6. Yeah, something like that.
It wasn't a bad movie. It was just bad CG and still waiting for the live action. Dude, you know that will happen. With James Gunn's type of humor, Dead Man is up his alley, right? Yeah. And we know we're getting a Swamp Thing, finally, hopefully.
Yeah.
And this reminded me a little bit of Shazam, and what I liked about it was the whole family aspect, which is what they ruined in the second one.
They were like, we're in the costumes. It's all about poor Shazam trying to be the leader. It was so dumb.
Just listening to you both discuss the film, I'll eventually see it. It's not high on the viewership. Oh, dude, thank you so much. All right, here we go. Omar, 5.5 out of 10. Amanda, you were a little nicer. You gave it a 6 out of 10.
Wait, what did we give the Flash? I don't remember what we gave the Flash.
Dude, James is like, this make we look up the Flash now.
Okay, Blas, I didn't see the painting, but
wait, what? There was a painting?
I didn't see the painting, but when
it was the painting of the girl and the dad and the mom.
I think so. Yeah, I didn't really get a good look at it. I don't think I was paying attention that well to that painting. But it's the computer. When it started to the way it was coming into focus on a person's, it just looked to me like Jason Sudeikis. That's what it looked like. I was like, I think it is. I was really, it has to be, yeah.
James Abel with the receipts. Yeah, I would hate to be married to James. I'd be like, what are you talking about, man? I didn't come home drunk 2 years ago. And he's like, actually, here's video footage of you stumbling through the door, a-hole.
I got a lot of receipts on Omar.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
The one I'm gonna take. The only thing I'm gonna say in Omar's eulogy is the time he thought the Flash.
Yeah, what makes you think I'm gonna go first? Okay, I'm taking care of myself.
I take care of myself. I do CrossFit.
Oh! I knew it. There it is. The cult. The cult.
The first rule about CrossFit: talk about.
You're not supposed to talk. Oh yeah, you're supposed to tell everybody about it.
Yeah, you gotta tell everybody.
I love Shazam 1 and 2 and Black Adam, but I think I'm the only person in the world that enjoyed. Yes, you are, Brian.
Did we?
I can't even finish reading that Green Lantern and still waiting for a sequel. Mark Strong is okay. Mark Strong as Sinestro was the best part about Green Lantern for real, though. James has receipts. Yes, he does. What DC hero would I like to see a movie of? Which question? Classic question or Rene Montoya? Actually, you got to go with the classic question. He was such an awesome character.
Also, could be a James Gunn thing.
What painting? There was a painting in the house where they go to. Was it in? Where was the house?
It was.
Thank you.
Out to the suburbs of
James, where was the house, James?
I don't remember where the house was.
Who would Jason Sudeikis' Booster Gold casting counterpart be? Someone from SNL or Ted Lasso?
That's interesting because we both picked Glenn Powell from.
I love that guy. Guy's funny.
When we did our casting of the new DCU, so he's a little bit younger.
He plays a good douchebag.
He would be good as Booster Gold, so I don't know. Well, but it would work if
younger though.
I don't know. He could be younger
because Ted Cord has a daughter, right? So I would think around the same age.
Okay, there we go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, not necessarily. Look, James right now is like, I cannot find their stupid Flash. All right, Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren couldn't say. Oh gosh, I don't know. No, yes. I'm curious. I gave it a 6.5. What did I give Shazam?
Not even.
I gave it a 5.5. And I think I was being.
You had 3 Batmans in the Flash, and none of those Batmans. Well, you even had the uncanny cameos of Nick Cage as Superman and Adam West as Batman, all those people, and that still couldn't save that movie. But Omar thought everyone wanted to go see it for Keaton's.
Shut up. CrossFit is an absolute cult. I've owned a CrossFit gym for a decade. It's the only gym around, superhero posters everywhere. As long as it works for you, and you're not killing anybody or harming anyone, I guess that's
Wait,
good.
but he's owned it. He owns the CrossFit gym, so he's part of the cult.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. As long as it's working for him.
It's true. Like, so we have a CrossFit competition coming
Oh
up,
no!
and it's called. So
God.
our CrossFit gym is CrossFit Infinity. So
Thank you, William. I'm gonna write your name down, William.
Our competition is called Infinity Wars. And there's like Captain America shield, the whole thing. So yeah, you're right. We do like our superheroes. The CrossFit
world. Amanda, the painting was before Jaime had the brilliant.
There, I was focused on the wrong thing. So
what the hell's wrong with you? Since WB owns DC, why haven't they put? Thank you for the super chat, my brother. Why haven't they put both the recent Constantine and Swamp Thing TV shows into Max? I think because they're trying to distance themselves from that. And by the way, the Swamp Thing TV show was solid, but I stopped watching it because.
Now, Constantine, you're talking about the one that was on CW, right?
Oh, I never watched that one.
That could be licensing things. Like they have agreed to host it somewhere else for a while. And so I don't think that's the case with Swamp Thing because that's their property. Was an original. I think they just took it off. But Constantine may be somewhere else. I don't know. I'd have to but it could be a licensing thing, like an agreement they have.
William saying no one's died yet. I like the yet covering your bases there. Speaking of spooky DC heroes, any sign of the Phantom Stranger omnibus? My brother, I've seen pictures. It's real. People have sent me pictures, which is really nice. Or they're really good at Photoshop. I don't know. We lost James. James is like busy, like his brain's on overload. He's like, Amanda, I'm gonna look for it myself. Hold on. Amanda put him to work, and James like, I can't find his shit. PW Constantine was very enjoyable. I was very sad they canceled it. And Constantine's show was solid. Matt Ryan is the definitive live action John. Really? Okay. I sadly never watched it because I kind of lost touch there
with the CW.
Well, I was watching Titans, and I like the cast of Titans. That was a bad show. I don't think I finished season 1. It was awful. Yeah. But if you liked it, more power to you. Which Animal Man do you want to see on the big screen? Morrison's or if you're talking about Morrison's is one of my favorite stories of all time, so I got to go with that. And Jeff Lemire's Animal Man is a solid story too. But Morrison's, that's on another level, my brother. Constantine TV show aired originally on NBC, and it was great. Matt Ryan was so good as John Constantine. I did that for you, Roy. As Sandman has taught me. Matt Ryan was funny, but his acting was sometimes poor. I mean, okay, never mind. I was about to say something blasphemous, and I don't want to get canceled tonight because I was about to compare him to Keanu Reeves acting. Omar, did you see what they did to Nightwing on the Harley Quinn show? No. What'd they do? William isn't part of the cult. He's the CrossFit cult enabler. Amanda, did I lose you on mute?
No, I was trying to find I give up. I can't start.
No, yeah, find it. I guess James gave up on us too.
I can't watch our video and find the direct place.
That's too much. It's not that important. Zach Braff from Scrubs nearly played Blue Beetle in The Legends of Tomorrow, and Donald Faison from Scrubs played. Oh, that would have been solid. I love both of those guys.
I do.
Honestly, I see that working too. The question is a TV show instead of a movie. Has there been any news in cast of Swamp Thing movie? Who would you guys like? Ooh, we should cast Swamp Thing. That would be fun.
No, we cast it. We cast him.
Yeah, we cast Swamp Thing, but we didn't go to
not the whole thing. We just cast. I think I picked Dan Stevens for Swamp Thing.
I can't remember who I picked. James, you still in the chat?
I'm pulling up the. No, I still have the PowerPoint.
You both keep changing. Oh, look at James is saying you both keep changing the subject during the flash review.
We clearly do.
It's what we do. It's what we do.
I picked Dan Stevens, and you. Oh, off the top of my head, who that gentleman is?
You don't know who that gentleman is. You didn't do the research. Are you guys Prison Break fans?
I have never watched it, but I know he did.
All right, I'm gonna be honest with you. I watched the entire thing. I'm gonna tell you why. The first half of season 1 was so good. Dude's trying to get his brother out of prison tattooed. the entire map on his body of the prison. I'm like, that's awesome. The second half, I'm like, all right, it's getting boring. Then we get to the second season, and I'll tell you why I watched it. My brother was like, oh, you got to keep watching. It gets so good when it gets to the fourth season. I got to the fourth season, and I'm like, this is probably one of the worst TV shows I've seen in a while. What are you talking about? I didn't know. Then my brother told me that he had a crush on the lead actor. That's why he kept watching. And I'm like, that's a big difference. I'm not going to watch a guy that didn't have a crush on the main actor. No, it was the first half of season 1 was solid, and aspects of season 2, then it gets silly, man. It gets silly. Danny DeVito is dead, man. Old Swamp Thing, 80s and 90s show. Oh, that's what we should do. Was it really? People hate Return of Swamp Thing. I kind of dug the movie.
I would dig doing some Swamp Thing, like, because I don't think I've ever seen the older like TV show or the movie.
The movie is solid. Like, I still love the movie. I love season 1 and 2 of Prison Break. Seasons 3 and 4, not so much. Yeah.
Well, y'all aren't convincing me that I need to start watching it. That's for sure.
Oh, they're doing a physical release of Sandman? I can't wait. When does season 2 start? James, you still with us?
I don't know.
Also, why is Omar wearing my high school team shirt? You didn't go to Eagle Fang Karate. Did this in honor of Xolo.
Karate.
I love that show. Alan Tudyk. I picked out Alan Tudyk as 10-eyed.
You sure did.
I did. I want to see another live-action Poison. Uma Thurman didn't do it for you, BLT?
Uma Thurman was pretty good.
No, she was not. No, she was not. I don't think anything. She was, she was good. She was good to look at. No, that's not enough. Reeves' Constantine was disaster. It only served to showcase Reeves. Whoa. Remember when I said Jack Ferry, I don't want to get canceled?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I have a soft spot for Keanu Reeves.
You know what? Here's the thing. Keanu Reeves is such a good human being. He gets a goddamn pass, okay? He's such a good...
He tried to do a reboot, sequel, prequel, trequel of Bill and Ted when he's an old man. I still give him a pass for that.
No. Wait a minute now. No. Hold on now, Amanda. Because I think that's where you're wrong. Because Keanu Reeves is Ted Theodore Logan. Like, he is that character. And the character from Point Break.
So he is
what was that really crappy movie that took place? Like, I was supposed to believe that he was from Argentina.
Was it a lake house? Was it the lake house?
No, that was oh my God. Was it a Walk to Remember? I can't remember. What is it called? It was a love
not movie. A Walk to Remember. That's for sure.
My bad. Okay, girl. That was a Nicholas Spark movie. What was the movie with him in fall? Oh my gosh. Come on. Who's a big Keanu?
September? Is some of it September? What?
Maybe. I will not tolerate this insult towards Keanu Reeves. Omar, you need to return that money. It's dirty money, but he paid me. I told the man I don't want to get canceled.
No,
but he gets a pass. Yes, it's the one where he played the doctor. Oh my gosh, you know what? No, I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna stop talking about that. All right, Omar. All right. Amazon has canceled A League of Their Own.
Yes, they did.
In the Peripheral season 2, the reasons was WGA. And the strikes. What other series do you think will get canceled due to the strike? Oh man, I don't know. I wasn't the biggest fan of A League of Their Own the first season. Sweet November, my boy. That's
Sweet November.
Me and King Sport Cal, we took dates to go see that movie. I'm sure that's why we know that movie. And the whole time I'm like, that's some bad acting. A Walk in the Clouds was also bad.
No.
All right, we need to stop talking about the man.
Yeah, you know what will. So on James' subject of what will get canceled, I think that we'll see a very different phase 5, end of 5, 6, phase 6 of MCU.
You haven't started phase 5 yet, have we?
Okay, well, I think we'll see a very different phase 5 and phase 6 of the MCU.
Oh no.
I think that based off of Bob Iger's comments, we have the strike. Now would be a good time to restructure their thoughts about what shows they're going to put out, movies. I think that's what we're going to see, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
As far as properties that we would really discuss here on this channel, right? ad nauseum, and I think that's where it's going to be affected.
It sucks because I hate to see anybody lose their job, but I don't know.
Did you see that the actress who played the nun in the Nun film, they used her likeness, like for the subsequent films, and they didn't pay her accordingly?
Oh, but come on, that's been going on since.
I know, but yeah, that's
been going on before. I mean, look at what's his name? Crispin Glover, Back to the Future, right? Back to the Future. He did not want to come. Well, he wanted to come back for more money, and they were like, "You're out of your damn mind for Back to the Future 2." So they fired, or they didn't renew his contract and dress somebody to look like him. They look like George McFly, act like him and stuff. So I mean, this stuff has been happening in Hollywood long before AI. Now it's become a lot more dangerous, though, with things like that with the nun. That is a really good point, though.
No, it is. Yeah.
Phase 5. Oh, so Phase 5 kicked off with
Quantumania. So I don't know if they'll do.
Well, that was not a good start. That wasn't a good start, guys. From the Space Knight, my man. Hey, we're having none of that. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Dude, we everybody that remembers A Walk in the Clouds of Sweet November, we ain't seen John Wick 4 yet. That's what's happening.
Have you saw John Wick 4?
I saw it on the plane.
That's right. You watched it in the plane, but you haven't seen Indiana yet.
No, and I'm afraid to. I should have gone and supported my boy, though. I've seen every Indiana Jones movies in the theater, and I don't know. We were just coming back from Japan, and it had been out for a week and a half, and then you made me go and watch something else instead when I wanted to go watch Indiana, but you're like, we got to review this, and I'm like, okay, I guess we'll review that.
What did we watch instead of?
I'm sure it was Barbie or something so much better.
No, that came out way after.
I can't recall. Now's the time to watch all those British TV and long-running anime shows until
we've been watching Korean zombie movies, TV series, and my husband's been watching this reality show called The 100, and it's all these like tough guys, and they have to do all these challenges. It's from Korea. It is insane, but they do all these different challenges to compete against each other to see who's like the strongest, the fastest. I was like, well, this is how we're spending our time now. Because there's no content. Okay, that's good.
I didn't see Down Destiny. Please don't yell at me. Indiana Jones ended with The Last Crusade. Yeah, but Shia LaBeouf tried to bring it back. All right, here we go.
Oh, 7.5.
The Flash, Omar, 7.5. Really? That's all I gave that masterpiece? I should have gone with a 9. Man, a 7. You didn't hate it as much as you thought you did.
I guess I didn't.
Really liked it. I will say this about Korean, when we were in Japan, we went to the Ghibli Museum and we made friends with 2 Korean producers. Yeah. And they were like, holy crap. They were the ones that did the Surf Ninjas 4. Remember I told you that? Oh, no, 3 Ninjas 4. And they were telling us about like all these movies, and they were showing us pictures of all the things they brought over. Yeah. And now they've gotten older, so they're focusing on like documentaries to bring over. But they made a killing bringing things over to streaming services to America. And she was like, and it's interesting because so many more, we thought we were bringing it over to America for the Korean audience that lives here, but there are so many Americans that watch that stuff that it just blew up. And I think that was really cool. Exactly. They were the producers of 3 Ninjas. I knew it, Mega Mountain.
Man, that's so cool, though.
It was so fun to talk to them. I wish I had gotten their contact info. Wait, I swear you and Omar were married with kids.
No.
Were you the hobby man? Were you drinking?
Or we are cousins. By marriage?
Never mind. I'm not gonna make that joke. They made a movie more. Yes, they made more than one. Why? Because people bought it, man. For the same reason that like Spy Kids, they made like there's another Spy Kids coming out.
There is a Spy Kids and the Shark Boy and Lava Girl. They've like Netflix acquired the property and they put out a movie that has like Pedro Pascal in it. My daughter loves it. And the little girl
Pedro Pascal's in it?
Yeah, he plays the dad of the I don't know, the girl who has no powers. Everyone else has powers. Shark Boy and Lava. So the girl who plays Shark Boy and Lava Girl's daughter is the girl who played young Leia in the Kenobi series. And yeah, my daughter loves that. But yeah, those properties, they make them all like 700 sequels.
Young Leia was not the salvation of that.
No, I don't think it was.
I heard Keanu dated his co-star in Sweet November ever since they met in Devil's Advocate. That was another movie. And remember, he was also in the Dracula movie with his California accent. Oh, man, my favorite line was from I'm getting drunk now. I want to talk about.
Yeah, you are.
From The Matrix. What? Why is this happening to me?
I'm okay. I when he starts doing Keanu impressions, we have reached the point of no return.
I love Keanu Reeves. I think he's a wonderful human being. That's why he gets back. If I ever meet him on the streets, I will give my seat to him on the bus because he does the same. And yes, Point Break still rules. Please tell me, I know you have. You've seen the Cornetto trilogy, right, Matt? I know you have, dude. Oh my gosh, I love. Oh gosh, what's the second movie?
No.
Shaun of the Dead.
No.
The two cops. What the heck is that movie called?
Hot
Fuzz. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, chat. Hot Fuzz. That's what it is. I'm just kidding. I heard you. Oh my God, Hot Fuzz. When they were quoting Bad Boys and they were quoting Point Break. Oh, I love that movie.
Oh my gosh.
Movie's awesome. You like Hot
World's End? No, yeah.
World's End was my least favorite, but it was still good. Yeah. Hot Fuzz is my favorite.
I'm a big Simon Pegg fan, so all three of those films were enjoyable to me.
That guy was supposed to direct Ant-Man, which is why I wasn't a fan of Ant-Man. Please smash the like button. That is right. Oh, how dare you, Matt. The shit just got real. Point Break or Bad Boys 2. They go to Cuba in Bad Boys 2, man. But I got... And they got that Nelly song in there.
That'd be a really good... that'd be a great segment we can do. Bad Boys 2 or Point Break.
Bad Boys 2 or Point Break.
Or like, what if we did like, oh God, Lethal Weapon versus like, I don't know. What else would we do? Like
Lethal Weapon or Loaded Weapon 1?
Yeah,
Bad Boys for Life. Dude, come on.
Anything with P. Diddy, that song, oh, that was my jam.
Okay, you know what? That song was my jam too. All right, do it, Amanda. There you go. Y'all brought that out. That brought it out. You weren't expecting that, were you?
For life. Oh, that was such a great.
That was a good time. It was a good time.
I didn't see the movie, but I love the soundtrack.
What the fuck? You didn't see the movie?
I've never seen the movie.
Fine ass Union.
Edge. I mean, I loved that soundtrack, and I never saw the movie. But
I guess it would be like me watching Grease and never seeing them, or no, Flashdance and never seeing Flashdance. But I did see it. I haven't seen any of the Fast and Furious movies yet. Seriously, what's a good place to start?
The first one.
The first one is actually charming and has a lot of good things about it.
And then it just gets weird. Watch the second one.
I was drinking.
The second one for Ava Mendes and stay for Tyrese Gibson. I don't know. No, stay.
Stay for Ava Mendes.
Stay for Ludacris's Too Fast, Too Furious song at the end credits.
Okay, you need to stop. You're not even drinking. You need to stop.
A little bit.
Matt's saying Fast 5. As the lady says in Bad Boys 2, you're quoting Bad Boys 2. You need Jesus, Omar. I love Bad Boys 2. That was so good. That was such a fun movie.
Mike couldn't even pick up all of Omar's rage.
Is this what the AMA is like? Chat confirming. Oh, it gets a lot worse than the AMA. These fools got me asked me so many weird questions. Amanda, when are you gonna have the Fast X watch along? Let me tell you something. James is like your spouse that will not forget.
It's on the streaming service for free at James because that's the only way I'm gonna be watching it this.
I think it's out. It's like on Paramount or HBO.
No, I've just been on Paramount looking for other crap. Like I was looking on Peacocks. I want to watch Asteroid City.
I know it's somewhere because I saw it pop up.
I'll look, and then we can do that.
All right, look. Bad Boys 2 is not a good movie. It's the best movie ever. I just realized that very few people probably have sex without influence of alcohol, hence leading to people making bad decisions. With or without.
I mean, both times I had my kids, I was sober. So, or when I could see my children, I was sober. So that was a good idea, I guess. Well, good has still been a bad idea.
Okay, I didn't know where you were going with that story. I think I don't know what I was about to drop some wise bombs, but decided, you know what? I'm thinking about Bad Boys 2. I think I'm gonna go watch Bad Boys 2 instead. Fast X is streaming on Peacock.
All right, then September 15th, we can make
Amanda's gonna watch Fast X and she can review it by herself.
No, we're just gonna do a Discord, and me and Omar will just comment live. But you have to be on the Patreon to be able to watch that.
What is even happening anymore? Bad Boys for Life is what. Are you a fan of the Gorillas? I want to take my daughter to go see them. Bad Boys.
Your daughter, is it Lydia?
Oh, Lydia loves the Gorillas. So man, it is coming to Peacock.
Because they were out when I was around her age. Like that's when Clint Eastwood came out. That's weird.
Yeah, that's like her favorite.
That's crazy.
Yeah, she's got a good taste in music. I mean, I guess it depends on your parents, right? Like your parents raised you. It depends on your parents. Like
no, just kidding. She does.
Amanda doesn't have children in my universe.
There you go, Casey.
All right, Flash. All right. Bad Boys 4 has a yes. We saw Bad Boys 3. Did we review Bad Boys 3?
We did.
And I remember being mad that why did they call it Bad Boys for Life? They should have waited until the fourth one to call it Bad Boys for Life. Come on now. Omar, how often do you go to Ollie's? Me and Amanda we used to go a lot. We need to do that again.
Because there's one in our hometown now. We didn't used to have one here. We used to have to go travel for it.
We'll hit up some Ollie's on the way to New York. That's what we'll do.
You on the plane? How the hell are we gonna do that?
I gotta give people what they want, Amanda. Bad Boys 4, Bad Boys Take Manhattan. Is that what it's not called?
That was called?
Alex, the fourth one's coming. I grew up on Gorillas, Plastic Beach. Oh, dude, yes. Hold on. Do you think Will Smith will return for another Men in Black sequel?
Oh, after the reboot.
Oh, you review that by yourself because I was like, I'm not gonna go see that.
Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth. I think we're good. They realize that the magic only happens in the Thor Ragnarok movie, as evidenced in Thor: Love and Thunder. It only can happen once. I think we're good.
Yo, is this for real? They're opening up a Tamashii Nation. I went to the one in Tokyo. They're gonna open one up in New York City for real. When is that happening? Only team Tommy Lee Jones comes back.
Yeah, that would be a sticking point for me too.
If Bad Boys 4 does not have Chris Rock as the villain, it's not even worth watching, right? It's not even worth watching. I don't know if we'll see Will Smith in anything for a while. Apparently he's in Bad Boys though.
No, I mean
he did that movie.
Emancipation.
Oh God. Oh, Jack Ferry, what are you doing to me tonight? Thank you for the super chat though. Bad Boys 2 is trash. Love and Thunder is better than Bad Boys 2, and I hate it. Love.
Yeah.
You got some opinions tonight, Jack. Woo. You got some opinions tonight. You got me in trouble earlier with my Keanu Reeves. Probably will open soon since they're hiring. Oh, nice. All right. Anything else, Amanda?
Quick thing for Jean Remy.
Yes.
If you do like the comics, then you might want to watch a video that Omar did a while back.
With Amanda.
Comics versus the movie, where we read the.
Was it better than the book?
Yeah, was it better than the book? And we talked about if the movie was better than the comic book.
That's a lot of fun. We should bring that segment back.
We should. We have to just do a little bit of research because it's hard. Because with superhero properties nowadays, it's like they don't take from one story. Though I would like to do is Thor: Love and Thunder better than Jason Aaron's Gore the God Butcher? I already know what I'm going to say.
It's too soon. It's too soon, Amanda. Some wounds don't heal that quick. Look at James, Men in Black comic versus movie, which was better.
If you want to watch our take on that, that was a lot of fun.
We did that a little bit ago.
Oh God!
Will Smith's career will survive. Ezra Miller, though, will not be seen for a while.
Yeah, I think Will Smith, like he's back on social media. He's doing his stuff. I think he's going to be okay.
He's
Not
dead.
Ezra Miller.
Okay. Bad Boys 4, Batter Boys, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Guardians 3. Which would you watch first? Go from worst to, oh my God.
Worst to best? It would be
Yeah.
Eternals to get out of the way,
No.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, Shang-Chi, Guardians 3.
I go Ant-Man and the Wasp. That was the worst. Eternals, then Shang-Chi, then Guardians 3. That would be my vote. But if you just want to watch something good, go Guardians 3. Don't watch anything else. Amanda doesn't have a YouTube channel. She is on Near Mint Condition. We own her.
He pays me, so I'm on here. That's what I do.
It helps that she's family. Omar, was Golden Mustache worth, or did I embarrass all the friends? Oh, no. Worth it, my brother. Thank you. What do you think will happen to Johnny Depp and Kevin Spacey? I think they'll make a movie together. Wait, Johnny Depp and Kevin Spacey? What did Johnny Depp do now?
Well, even though the Amber, he hasn't been seen in a while since the Amber Heard thing, even though I guess they settled and he won, but I think it'll be a while.
Is he mad that people
Kevin
lost
Spacey, I don't know about. What's funny is, and Viral Earth too, we had this exact conversation last night, Omar and I, on the way out of the theater about Kevin Spacey, how he would probably never be working again. We had that exact conversation. Mm-hmm. Were you listening to our conversation?
Me?
No, him. In Viral Earth?
Maybe. One Piece Red. Amanda's going to review One Piece with me.
Yeah, we're going to do the first episode.
Johnny Depp was accused, but they found him not guilty. Isn't that what ended up happening? And now he's
he's not guilty of slander.
Wait,
vice versa?
I did not keep up with that trial, honestly. All I remember is all the jokes about.
Watch it on Netflix if you want to watch the documentary.
I do not want to watch the trial.
Neither do I. I would prefer not.
If he's not working, then I guess he's not working. I don't know. How about manga versus series for Golden Boy? The manga gets a little pornographic there, James. I know what you're doing there, buddy. Johnny Depp's situation is nothing like Kevin Spacey's.
No, they're two different things.
With Spacey's, I honestly I can't keep up. I don't remember what happened. Is like I remember my brother telling me that the Spacey thing was dropped though.
One of them was, yeah.
Okay, well, one. That doesn't mean all then.
He's been
Kevin Spacey's doing a movie in Europe. Thank you for the super chat, Jack. So that's what he's doing. We're reviewing the live action One Piece because she's never seen it.
No, I never.
So I'm excited to see what she thinks about this Netflix adaptation.
I'm gonna come in like a virgin.
Well, true.
True.
I'm gonna keep quiet. I'm gonna be a gentleman. Omar, how'd you get to be so cute? Oh, thank you. At my age, I could use some of those compliments. Thank you.
And good looks.
I think Johnny Depp is still making millions off cologne ads overseas.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I recently binged You on Netflix. I would recommend Pen Bag. I think we put him as Mr. Fantastic or something.
You did. You chose him. Yeah, I chose my guy from Veep. And
no, I stick with this guy. This guy's good.
Oh, he's good. I like my guy.
All right, we'll see who's right. 9 out of 10. I've been doing pretty good.
I don't think either one of us are right. It's not going to be us.
Depp was involved in a civil trial.
It's going to be Matt Smith. That's who's going to be.
No criminal trial. Spacey's cases in both the U.S. and the U.K. were dismissed. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Forrest Spacey's accused. No, what? That can't. Is that real?
I mean, I know Anthony.
I really have not
kept up. But I don't know about the rest of them.
Oh my gosh, I would love to. I would love. I mean, they're doing it, or as far as Humanoids does. Taika's working on Incal, so I would love to cast the Incal. I'd love for Amanda to read it. It's one of my favorite books. It is real.
Matt, is a good question. How
did your Blue Beetle review turn into discussion? Because we interact with you wonderful folks.
Yes. Okay, but it is now after 10 o'clock.
It's after. That means why doesn't Mango
Huff turn into a pumpkin?
Nobody needs to see that. Really quick, let me answer this one. That's because in Japan, where it originated from, it's all about making it more accessible to people, and it's cheap. So it's printed on cheap paper. It's black and white. It's crazy because when I went over there, I took video footage of this. They were recycling manga, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I don't want to go dumpster diving, but I almost came really close on a video, and I'm like, nope, not going to do that in another country. I'll probably get arrested. But it's just, it's that kind of format that they read it in. But that is a really good question. You guys need to watch a show called From. And all right. Panda, I'll be back tomorrow morning.
All right. So Omar will be back tomorrow. I will be back on Wednesday. And I don't know what we're going to do yet. So we'll figure it out. Anywho, we'll figure it out. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And remember to follow us on all of our social media channels at nearmintcon. Remember to check us out on Spreadshop for some great Near Mint Edition merchandise. And also check us out on Patreon. For $1 a month and more, you can support us here on this channel and get some really cool perks, like watching me watch Fast X on a Discord at the same time. And last but not least, if it's classy and cool, it must be Near Mint. Good journey till all are one, and roll out. We'll see you guys later.
That's like 2 Transformer things. Are you ending the stream, or you want me to do it?
Oh, I thought you were going to end it.
No, you're the one that's ending it. Before you go, I just wanted to thank you for getting me into comics. You're so welcome. Omar, I don't ever comment, but I really enjoy your videos. Have a good night, everyone. Oh, thank you. And you should comment. Don't be shy. Thank you all. Love you all. I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Bye. I leave it to